Hi, I'm Coach Kenya Ray, and I'm going to talk to you today about being overwhelmed with decisions. I know we all have decisions to make every day. So if you have some compelling decisions coming up, life always throws something at us where we have to make a decision, and this would be for you. So I know sometimes it's just hard to make a decision. You know, you have your family, your friends. It might be something about relocation or just entering a new field. So it can be hard to make those decisions. So one thing I like to do, if I am faced with a big decision, and this has helped others as well, is just to take 10 minutes to declutter your physical space. I mean, yeah, I don't mean like toss it all over the place, throw it on the floor, but just kind of organize your space. This also helps kind of declutter and settle your mind as you're organizing, decluttering that space, so you can kind of have an environment of peace as you're going to go through making these decisions. So I think that there might be 5 ways you could start today that would help you with making a decision that you're facing right now. Now, the first step is to clarify your values and priorities. I know that sounds difficult too, like, oh no, here's another decision I have to make. But take the time to really reflect on what truly matters, what is, influencing this decision at this time of your life. Think about that. You might want to sit down and write out your values, your priorities. And then when you're faced with the decision, go back, look at your values, look at your priorities, and see if it aligns with what you want to do a little bit differently. Now, number 2 is to set clear goals. Yes, establishing clear, specific goals for different areas of your life, whether it's career, relationships, health, or just personal growth and development. When you look at like the objectives, like what are you trying to achieve to get to that next step in that area, it becomes easier when you're looking at goals. And these aren't lofty goals. These are goals that are you can set that are defined. You give yourself a due date, right? And then you make steps. Like, how do I achieve this goal? And we'll talk about one of those things here in a second. The third is limit options. When we are faced with a decision and we have lots of potentials, people like to think of, oh, the what ifs. What if I take this direction? What if I walk down that path? How do I limit those options? Because that can lead to decision paralysis. I know we're stuck. There's just too many decisions to make. So practice limiting your options deliberately. Tell yourself, I have a maximum of 3 choices. That's it. I'm going to set it to just 3 choices. These are my options. So that way I can focus on those relevant options. Then go back to my values and priorities and see which of those best aligns, right? Let me prioritize these and make the decision that way by limiting the options. Number 4, use decision making frameworks. If you're one of those people who are like, I don't know where to start, like, what do I just write down on a piece of paper? Do I pull up my tablet? Can I tap it on my phone? Absolutely. Those are all valuable places where you could sit down and figure out like what your options are, the pros and cons, things like that. But if you're someone who wants something like made for you, you can always go online. There are like ways you could do a pro and a con list. There's decision matrix where you can put in like, here are my options, these are my decisions. So there are a few different ways you can go about helping yourself with this decision making process. Like, there are ways. I know you're thinking, how do I make a decision as to which one of these do I use? Well, figure out what works for you. Sometimes it's not the first one you pick, it might be the second or third. So just take some time to figure out which of those resources work best. For me, I like just writing it down, good old pen and paper, pros and cons, with my values, at the top, like what is the priority? Is it me, my family, things like that, financial, figuring that out. So, and then number 5 is going to be practice mindfulness and simplify. I know we're talking about being overwhelmed by decisions, and then I'm telling you, just simplify things. Just stay present in the moment, be grounded. When you feel overwhelmed about a decision, take a step back, breathe, that can be hard. And focus on the present moment. Just simplify your environment, simplify your routine. Just take a moment to breathe. It doesn't mean you're taking a day off or half a day. You're taking, again, maybe 10 minutes, right? Just 10 minutes to help decompress yourself, declutter your mind, and be in your space, your physical, mental space, where you can eliminate a lot of the outside noise to help you make that decision. So those are 5 strategies, right? We had clarify your values and priorities, set clear goals, limit options, use decision-making frameworks, practice mindfulness, and simplify. So now let's put all that to an example to see if it would help, right? So let's say we have a decision, a big decision like, should I pursue a new job opportunity? Many of us may be faced with that, or if you're deciding you want to go into a different direction, you start thinking, okay, here's a new job opportunity, should I take it? Well, let's start with those pros and cons. With the values, what are you looking for? Do you want to improve your family life? So you might say pros would be associated with this job opportunity are a higher salary. Potential for career growth. Maybe you're moving into a new sector or moving up in your current job that you are, a better work-life balance. Maybe you're like, I really like to spend more time for myself or for my family. Opportunity to work with a dynamic team, right? Those could all be pros for why you're approaching a new job opportunity. But let's look at some cons, right? Maybe it has a longer commute, uncertainty about the company's future. Maybe it's a startup or just a new company that doesn't have a lot of employees. Potential for increased workload, is that something you're looking for? And then less familiarity with the industry. Ooh, that can be tough, right? Because some people will struggle with that. So some factors to consider, right? We're looking at our values again. So your personal values, what are your career goals? Have to look at that. The impact on your current job's satisfaction, potential for that professional development, other information that you probably would need to research a little bit, maybe about the company's reputation, maybe their financial status. I do some networking, find out, talk to some other people who are in the industry. That can be pretty easily done now with LinkedIn or just going online, finding out what are the pros and cons into going to this new space. Feedback from family and friends. Maybe people always find that there's a family member in the industry that they're looking into that they didn't know about, because really people don't always talk about what exactly they do. So do a little networking, do a little bit more research to help you with that decision making, or if anything, help with that pros and cons. Next step, of course you want to, schedule for an interview once you've decided, or, you want to apply for that job, jump into it. Hopefully that will then lead to an interview. When you're in that space, you want to talk about discussion of professional development, career opportunities, that work-life balance, just to determine if it is a good fit for you and your own professional growth. Now, there are different ways that we can also look at this, like as a visual, like we can go back and look at some of those decision-making frameworks to put it in a big picture. And sometimes this is even easier when we're sharing this with family as well. I don't mean you have to go out and do a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. Again, you can pull out a paper and pen and then, a tablet, type out pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. You could look at all the other information that you've researched on the company, pull that into that decision-making framework, and then look at how does this measure against your values. So again, looking at how to prioritize, what are you looking to seek out of a new opportunity? And then you might decide, actually, maybe now is not the time, right? If your values and what you're looking for are not aligned with this new opportunity, then this may not be the time, right? There may be another opportunity coming up, but maybe this just isn't the time. So make sure you follow Coach Kenya Ray, where I can help coach you through your educational and career decision-making processes.